So good evening everybody, and Pan is here with his mama today. Mama's been really busy. She's been really busy because she had loads of work to do. But what happened was some packages came from Amazon. So what she did was she opened the packages. She took out everything. She left the packages out in the sun for a day because she didn't want to, not take care during this time. And the next day, she picked up all those cartons and was about to throw them out. Now, again, she got a little busy. So Pan looked at them and said, I think I want to make something nice out of them. And mom said, looked at Pan, and she suddenly realized that he was cutting out a carton and letting a car go through it. And she asked Pan, what do you think you're doing? He said, I just made a garage. She said, okay. And then she quietly sat down to do her work and left all the cartons there. In just a little while, the garage turned into a palace. The palace turned into a school. The school turned into a friend's house, and Pan just sat and played. All he had was just a whole lot of cartons, and his toys were sitting right there. Then slowly he went to bring a toy, and now the toy became a part of the palace. Another toy sat in the house, and suddenly this whole world grew around Pan. It can be as simple as that. And just to speak about these, uh, chances, these invitations, so without realizing, Pan's mama actually gave him an invitation to explore and do what he had to. So we have Tripta with us today. And you know how I invited her was she was having a cup of tea with me. This chai always gives me a really good speaker to come onto the show. And she said, do you know about invitations that you can give children and children can take them? I just tell me about it. And that's how today evening came by. So Tripta, a very warm welcome. I hope you have your cup of chai with you.
Thank you.
And ready to go. A very warm welcome from Pan and mamas and all the mamas and teachers here.
Thank you
So over
so
to you.
much. Thank you so much,
A little
Sonia. It was
insight,
a
your thoughts, your journey to actually talking to people like us to understand this whole process. How did it all begin for you?
Sonia, this started long back in 2008 when I attended an international conference and I came to know about Reggio approach. That
Okay.
Reggio approach gave me so much of insight that normal, small, little things can be so much of learning for the children. And that's how my exploration started to understand how to make children understand, how to make them connect to the real world which is around them, which we can't see, but they can see. And that's how the journey began.
So
And there was no looking back.
no looking back. Actually, journeys should be like that, where there is no looking back. I also wanted to ask you, there is so much of India that always did experiences. There are systems, there are outdoor learning. There used to be the Gurukul, where people actually, even the king send their, children there. So, how do you, look at something which is come from another part of the world, adapting to
Mhm.
needs of our country? Because each system is also unique to itself. Each area is
Yes,
unique to.
absolutely.
So, what is it that you found common, and what did you feel that, oh my God, this is going to work for us? What were those little things, if you can tell us about them, please?
So when I learned about Reggio, and to make it very simple to understand, I started understanding, connecting our culture and our activities and how children grow up in our society. And I could easily connect Reggio with our system because when I saw a small mother, trying to attract her child with a small little toy, making him crawl and giving a lure in front of him so that he moves a little front. So this was an invitation which is going on for generations and generations in our society, that we keep a little toy, or probably we hang a little toy, or we take out little sound when the child is there in our lap. Invitations and provocations starts in our culture also from the very first day the child is born. And we never realize that, we are giving him small little invitation to explore the world, let his journey of life begin to understand what it is. And do you relate with a small little word? We tell our children, garam hai, hot, hot, no, no. Uh, small little things, we give an insight to a child with our chai ki pyali, adding your chai ki pyali to it. When the child comes running to his mother and trying to touch
Yes.
it,
Yes.
and the child knows it is hot in case I touch it. I mean, the reflexes are on, and slowly, as a mother, how we start building the reflexes at home, we keep inviting and keep giving provocations to the children that this is to be touched, this is to be explored, and this is to not to be explored right now, this is not the right age.
You know what?
So this is how
Yeah.
the
How
yeah.
the what's so interesting also is that especially during this time when all of us were
Yeah.
exploring, we were all we had access to a lot of information, and we
Mhm.
started looking at what people had to tell. You realize there's certain common threads in every kind of an education system.
Absolutely.
And so when I met you, so somebody had given me this beautiful booklet in one of my sessions at Gujarat, and that
Hmm.
had it was a daily planner with
Hmm.
educationists, at a glance. I picked
Okay.
it and I got it, but it's been like, it's been with me through these last many weeks because
Oh wow.
I meet somebody like you have worked with this system. So I have worked with activity based learning, which is a generic system. So when I looked at it, I said, so I said small things like children learn through experience of touch, movement, listening, and observing. This would be applicable anywhere in the world, right? Right?
Absolutely.
And also what was so beautiful, that what caught my attention, Tripta, and which I really wanted you to help us to understand, was a very nice small snippet that was here. It says, contrary to other systems, teachers assert that confusion is a contribution to learning.
Absolutely.
I,
Absolutely.
I actually read this line 5 times. So they purposely begin with a project without really a clear understanding. There is no clear picture. And the project is given to the child, and the child explores, questions, asks, wonders, and then the teacher just. So, this is the wonder of what we want you to take us through, please. In the order you
Uh,
will, I will just pitch in when I need to ask you a question, because you know the system, you know it so much nicer. So over to you, please.
so Sonia, I would like to add on two, three systems together for better understanding. So to start with, I'll start with a normal common thing of, again, going back to what the children learn. Every mother, no matter if she knows anything or not, she knows that a child starts sitting by the age of 5 months. She will start giving the cushions, and slowly, when she feels that the back is ready, and she'll start removing the cushions. So adding on a little insight of what is zone of proximal development. So zone of proximal development is knowing from known to unknown. So the mother doesn't make a child sit just like that and then removes the cushions. She takes her from the known, let little bit of, with support the child is sitting, and slowly when she feels the child is ready, she moves on, and the child starts doing the next activity. Probably make them sit and crawl and come down to the tummy and all. So mentally we know that the zones are known to us, that where the child stands exactly today and how we take it further. So we all know that the children have got a very little attention span, and every time when we catch up on the attention span, it becomes so beautiful that we need to have something which is provocating in a child's mind, so that he starts listening to us, starts absorbing what the teacher is saying or what is there in front of him, like the ways you spoke about the cartoons which came from Amazon. The child was looking with a different perspective altogether, because and a mother was thinking it is a parcel I need to open, though the child was thinking world around it. Everything was there near the cartons. So this is a provocation which was all set up. So from known zone, that is
I have
these are
to,
cartons.
I have to admit here that when I look at little cartons coming in now, I also look, I'm going to do this with it. So why not?
So slowly those provocations are set, and we, I mean, in case you come back to the uh, elders, or you think about provocations, all these the shops which we keep all the things in front of us, those are provocation to make them enter the market. Advertisement is a provocation in front of us. So these are the provocations which we set in front of the child, and our curiosity, the child's curiosity, is to go and explore the item. So when the exploration comes, then your things should be ready. Like, I'm just giving you a small example of circle. So we introduced circle in our class, and we bought so many things in the circle, and we said, okay, don't you think what looks similar? We kept few circles and squares and different things, and slowly we told them this is known as circle because these are the things, the ball, and I don't remember what all we had kept. So the provocation was set. The children understood squares, and what we gave them was different color of stickers. There were small stickers with a square, circular stickers, and we told them go explore the class, explore the activity area, and put the green circle on a small circle, and put a red circle in front of a bigger circle. And trust me, Sonia, that invitation of putting circles across the class, I never thought that so many circles were actually existing in the class. What the child saw from his eyes, we just can't see that. And there's a child who was laughing, and the other child saw a circle in his mouth because he was laughing, and he could feel there's a circle because he was laughing with his wide mouth open wide. He said, I want to put a sticker here because I could see a circle in his mouth also. So this is the way provocations and the child's eyes can take the learning, and those children can never forget what a circle is. So there
As
was social emotional
I,
development.
yeah, no. In fact, as you're speaking, I realize even as I design, how much of it I
Hmm.
pre-decide.
Hmm.
That is how I'm going to give it to the children. And as I'm listening to you, I'm just thinking of how can I not be there and allow them to do it. So I think that's
Yes.
the story which we all have to take back from you.
In fact, we all end up giving only what we know, and we have to give that opportunity to the child from the day one. We are already giving this opportunity to our children that, let them explore. You just give an invitation to them. Let the provocation come in, and let the invitation in their mind set up, and let them explore the world. I give you a small example of fishing. So when anybody goes for angling, you use different baits for different timings. There's a shiny fish, there's a like the baits are shiny, different colors, different weather conditions. So when the bait is set and the bait is thrown as per the timings, definitely fishes come there. So coming and connecting that to the normal learning of a child, so the teacher or the mother who is setting a bait of what has to be taught. For example, I wanted the children to learn circle. So my bait was set that, I have to take their attention and I want to show them different things which are circular, and then invitation was set. All the fishes of my class were roaming around my theme, my learning outcome, and the circle, the learning was achieved. They could come and tell me the bigger circles, smaller circles, circles of different colors, the circles which are together, the circle which is alone, standing alone somewhere. He's waiting to meet his friends. The kind of things the children come up with, I couldn't even think of that. Why that circle is standing alone there? Why can't it be with the other circles the way we are together? So social emotional development was happening, curiosity was developed, the children were thinking in terms of social terminology also. I mean, it was amazing. I wish I could record each and every class of mine, the way the children come up with the answers. So I would recommend all the parents, all the teachers, that you have to ensure that whatever bait you're setting, whatever the learning outcome is, whether it is wishing somebody, whether it is setting the bed, whether going to the washroom routines, please see what provocation invitations you're setting. The moment you set it right, you will be amazed. It is a lifelong learning process. The children will never forget it.
I think that day in our conversation,
So,
there was something very beautiful that you said, Tripta, which said that just like you have, the waters, the time when you set a process, the right thing at the right time.
mhm,
So I thought that
Yes,
another very, very important carry back for all of us, that sometimes we want the child to learn this at this time. The child, it
this time.
may
Yeah.
be the right time for the invitation, you know. So I think that's
Yes.
a beautiful thing that we actually can talk about, that how is it that, you know, we must think of the right time. I'm also doing a couple of my parent orientations these days, because I think everybody's
Mhm.
interested with the whole process of the digital, so they're requesting some of us to talk to the parents. And you know, the one thing that I heard common is, हम उनको कराते हैं, बच्चे करते नहीं हैं. Because
Absolutely.
chose, so I asked them, what time do you do it? So they said, after we finish all our work. I said, do you think your children are ready at that time? So this is something
Absolutely.
which I would really want you to put light on. The timing of your invitation. I think that's so important also.
So, what really bothers me, Sonia, is what you said is right. Is at times the child is not made to sleep at the right time. The parents are awake till 11, 12, 1, 2 in the night, and the child remains up with the parents. And when they get up, they are ready for the day, but the child is not ready for the day. The child is cranky when they come to the school or they come and sit. They are not ready, and the parents think, "Ki, now the child is cranky. Let him roam around there, here, there, everywhere. And when I finish my work, when I'm free, then I'll sit with my child." And by the time the child is cranky, he's exhausted his all his energies, and then you said you come and sit and study with me. It's impossible. It is not the child's life which is has to roam around the parent's life, but the parent's life has to roam around the child's life. So, in case you want to have your own me time, you set your child's clock right. I remember all my life I've made my children sleep at 9:30, because after that I had a time to plan my next day. And my children used to get up in the morning fresh, because they required 10 to 12 hours of sleep. They could get up fresh, and by the time I was ready for my day, and my children were ready for their day. So when you're doing your morning routines, it should be full of songs. There should be some music in life. Even a child who's little cranky, did not sleep in the time, in case you set up a music of his choice, they will be jumping around. You've seen so many those songs which is coming about Mama Shark and Baby Shark and Papa Shark and all. There's such a peppy numbers you set in. The moment the peppy numbers are, there's a child even grumbling, crying, and all. Slowly he'll start get to groove to the music, and that is the invitation that yes, he's ready for the day, and now you can take him further. So anything you connect, you put music, that is the invitation. And do not never ever make your bribes as invitations and provocations. You do this, I will give you this. That is the most wrong invitation or provocation to the child ever.
So this is the most
So
common. I also tell you that is the
yes.
one that we come across. And after some point of time, the bribes are not enough. They don't work. Neither
Yeah,
does threat work. You know that you don't do this, and this is what I'm going to do to you. In fact, you know, Martha, what you said, two things which I'm actually
mhm.
seeing in children. When I'm talking to teachers, I'm talking to parents. Everybody who has set a routine during this time, you know, the child and the parent is less exhausted. Anyone who has not set a routine, please do it now. You still have another few months to go. You know, it's not finishing on 1st of January when 2021 comes, even though we're all praying really hard. The magic, it's going to take a little more time. So, like Tripta said, that if you want to invite the child to learn, the first thing to do is to create a rhythm and pattern in the child. To create a rhythm and pattern, a
Absolutely.
lot of rest is necessary. And Tripta, as we are talking about this, I'm also going to bring up one little topic which I have been thinking of. You know, when we talk about invitations, we talk about setting up a routine. In the first session that we did, this is our 31st session, and
Okay.
lucky maybe, you know. So, in the first one, we told them set up activity centers for your children. Collect all the resources, put them in order. It doesn't matter if the child is not using them every day, but see that they're accessible to you. That suddenly, if you want to do something, the child should be able to search for it, find it. a little box of which we called of miscellaneous items, purana dupatta, hat, some
So
dogs, which what you are talking about, when and the child will just take it out and play according to their own imagination. And this the toughest part of what I see today is a very restless child, because for parents, please understand, when your child is sleeping, the child is still listening.
listening.
Television you're watching, what language you're watching, what movements are happening. So all this planning, invitation, calmness just goes away if your child is not rested in the mind as well. Right, Tripta, that is something which is
Absolutely.
important, right? So I think that's one part which I have been wanting to talk about it, and I thought as minute you said rest, I said I have to bring this up. So yeah,
So
and
I would like to add on what you,
yes, please,
yeah,
please.
Sonia, just I want to add on one thing before we forget. The moment you spoke about miscellaneous love stuff, we call it loose parts play. Anything which does not hurt a child, no matter it is what which is comes out as a junk from your house, let it be there in the Amazon carton which is there in your house. Small things, big things. And when you teach a child, they will come up with such beautiful ideas. The children just pick up those bottle caps or bottles, and they'll make their letters, they will make their numbers, they'll make their cars, they will use those things like amazing. Loose parts play is the most important thing in a child's life. There's a video which was roaming around. There's a small child in which the mother had given a
I
toy.
sorry, this part about loose parts play. We're going to
Yes.
it, and I'm going to ask you for a list of things under it.
Oh, absolutely. There are 100,000. You can just Google it, loose parts play, and you will
Yeah,
access
so
there are thousand things
I
about
wanted
this.
to spend like a little time today just telling us as you have seen it, because I think it's a very useful caption in our minds.
Yes. So I give you a small example of my own son. He was very fond of cars when he was a small baby. And I had a lot of, because he was a second child. I didn't know about loose parts play then, but all the broken toys, all the things which were junk, we had to put in a box and it was there. So one fine day, he just picked up an old clock, because you get these number clocks in which the children put the numbers and then they learn the time and all. That was it. He picked up that. He picked up a flute. He put it in my bed. He put that thing as a steering. He went and ran to the kitchen and he bought three different bowls to put it as an accelerator, clutch, and play.
Okay.
And he got a small stool to sit on it. He pulled up a chair just behind his thing and he made his sister sit there. And he was driving his car. And I think I remember he put in something as a gear. There was some part which was there. He put him as a gear. I still have the photograph. I wish I knew I would have shown this photograph right now today. And I was amazed to see that the kind of observation a 3-year-old child had, that there's supposed to be a clutch, there's supposed to be a brake, they still see the steering, they still see the gears, but they don't see the accelerator, clutch, and brake. They knew that the child person sits in front, there's supposed to be a person who sits behind. So the amount of observation the children do is fantastic, and loose parts play can play. I mean, what they can put in your child's mind is out of the box thinking, the divergent thinking in your child's life. It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing that what we think we use it as a particular thing, and actually the children can think of 100 things out of it. You just put just my, my request, every parent, I just request you, pick up one thing which is not known to a child, which is harmless, put in front of the child and ask him what can we do out of it, and note it down. And you'll come to know around 100 things minimum. They'll go back and come back and say, mama, we can use this for that also, mama, I can use this for this also, and mama, I can use this for this also. That kind of an imagination, the wild thinking, the child has it. And what we want to do is we want to give what we know to a child. That's where we are going wrong.
Yeah, I think also at school, people who are going to be working in schools, teachers, I think this is also something which we need to think about, because everything we do is very concrete. It's this, and this. Not really. You're actually just telling children, now we are all going to sit down and I'm going to tell you a story. now we are all going to build words. Now we are going to do this. So, and I mean, I've done it as a teacher too, because the classes are big.
Mhm.
There is so little time, but maybe at least once in a week. My deal is, Tripta, that every time we are learning something new, rather than saying how many reasons we cannot do it, let's find a window to do it. So I think even as
Absolutely.
it's very important, even during this particular time that you're interacting with children, you could just do a simple day with cardboard cartons, or you could do something with dupattas, you could do something with, think of it now, think of it, and let us know also how to get this in
Yes.
wonder. I think it's fabulous if you can just think like that. There's also something which is,
So,
yes, tell me. What were you saying, girl? Huh?
yeah. So I was just going to say that, you have to don't use your brain when you're letting your children use their brain. Just keep it and let children explore. Let the invitation be there. Don't tell, keep, like what happens is certain times when I speak about loose parts play and we tell the parents that let it be. So what the parents do is we give a lot of loose parts back, but what we told is we told him to make a card, we told him to, so don't feed your child. Be the laziest person around, pick up your book, make a cup of pyali of chai with you, and just let the children be with the loose parts. That is what you
Yes.
have to do. Don't get scared, because initially you made your mind that yes, I put the things which are right things, it's not going to hurt my child, and let the child be.
Yes.
And
So you
all
said,
their life when. Mhm.
I said that we had this, you had said that you were going to give us one rapid set of examples. So whenever you're ready, we're ready to take your rapid set of examples, so that, it just gives people ideas on how to go about everything that you just experienced. You just let us experience it with
Okay.
you.
So before that, I would like to tell a small story which everybody knows. I love telling story, and it's a small little story which everybody knows about Goldilocks and Three Bears. I'm sure everybody knows this story. But the most beautiful, important lesson which we learn from this story is not big, small, and soft and hot and cold, or a song or a girl named Goldilocks, or she goes to jungle. But
And
what she
moral of
learns
the
and what
story.
she looks for is, yeah, what she wants and what she looks for when everything is in front of us, she looks for the just right things for them. What is right for them? The moment, even if you try it out, keep. Just want to trust me. Keep three things in front of you and tell them eat from whichever bowl you want to. The children will end up eating from the bowl which is just right for them. So when our children are ready, from the time they're born, they will come and take what's right. I mean, think about a small baby also. You give a very hot bottle of milk to them, they will just throw it away. Till the time the bottle is nicely lukewarm, they will not take it. So the child is born with the idea of what is just right for them, and they take it that. Please do not give anything extra. Please do not give anything less. And let the child who is born with what is just right for them thinking grow up with that. I give you a small example to make it understand much better. In case a new phone is launched in the market, any brand, anything, I see people rushing, having a lot of money. I'm going to buy this. It is a nice phone. It's got this facilities. Do you think it is just right for you? Do you think you are going to use all these facilities or not? That is more important to learn. Because the day you learn that I will buy or take or do what is just right for me, you are done for your life. You're there for your children, you're there for your parents, you're there for yourself, you'll have your me time, and you know exactly what to do with your money, with your resources, with your time, everything. The moment you, and what we do is we keep telling them itna nahi padho beta, thoda sa aur padho. From grade 1 we start teaching, as we start preparing the children for board exams for 10th and 12th. Then we make them prepare for their entrance exams, and it's not there. So let's focus on what is right for them, and then we'll go ahead. So yes, Sonia, you wanted me to do some rapid things to
Yes,
do around.
and
So in case.
yeah, I think that's great. But just before you take on the rapid thing, I think one little minute
Mhm.
of of that angling, where after every little while, I always feel we need to consolidate it before we finish and go on to the next step, Twitter, because what happens is we talk about a lot of things during the time when we,
Yes.
when
Yes.
this program. So I feel when I switch it off, I shouldn't actually look at it and say, oh, what did we talk about? That is the
Yes.
reason why
Absolutely.
it's so important to just look at yourself and say that you need to just give the invitations and learn how to back off. That's a
Yes.
very important. Let the child be little rested, and it's very important to give the invitation at the right time. Remember that the children will take what they need. They will eat as much as they can. They will consume. So, also today, the reason I stopped you here is that I see parents putting children in every course, anything online is offering. Anything. It's like the child is
Absolutely.
flooded. The child is not getting me time. The child is not getting time to get bored. The child is not getting time to tinker, doodle, just be. And that is really dangerous in the early years. So, like she said, be very careful. Give them as much as they need, not too much, not too little. Let them pick up what they need. And now we are going to go for a rapid round with Tripta. Come.
Absolutely. So I had a very nice question a long time back about children. I keep telling this to everybody. Surya, you tell me, in case you're having a small roti with your aloo matar ki sabji, what all are you learning out of it? What all can be the invitations and provocations?
So if I get aloo matar ki sabji with of winters, I'm just going to enjoy that. But yeah, like you said, it could be taste, it could be size, it could be sorting, just eating the matar and not eating the aloo. The aloo. I mean, that's also an
So he,
activity. Yeah. So yes, I think there's a lot to
so
learn from it.
lot to learn from it. But you can cut your alus in the shape of a triangle, and then your matars are circular, your paneer is square, and certain vegetables float and certain do not float in that. This roti you can make of any shape and any size, or you can just seriate it from big to small, small to big. So simple aloo matar ki sabji and roti can be full of fun. I remember one child just not ready to eat, and the mother said, "Okay, what I'll do is I'll give you one rice, and you keep eating one rice. You decorate and keep eating from the corner." Then she said, "Oh God, I will put two rice." So slowly, the child wanted to eat rice, and over a period of a week or so, he absolutely came to know that, Mama, when you put two, it becomes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12, and he was learning the tables. So I mean, it
Yeah.
can be
I think patience is another
so.
thing to do for the invitations, that you need to have a lot of patience. I'll tell you something. While you was talking about food,
Hmm,
my child was really young, and
hmm.
I always tell her that you are my best, example of how I would want, like how response in children happens at home. So I would plan about 7, 8 activities, and I would leave them around the house.
Hmm.
Some days I used to be so sad and upset because she wouldn't do any of them.
And she would have picked up something totally
Totally
different, and
different.
she said,
So
"Oh my God,
I
I
used to
never
look at
thought of it."
myself and say, oh my God, maybe. So this is also something which perhaps we should discuss, that you may be thinking and doing up these beautiful invitations for your child. And what if your child doesn't take any of them?
So it depends on, I mean, you should always keep your learning outcome in your mind. So today I'm going to focus on circle, but I need to focus on letters also. I need to focus on numbers also. I need to focus on handwriting also. And probably I want a child to roam around also. So coming back to circle, because it's the simplest example for anybody to understand. So when your child is moving around, he's thinking about big, small. So all the learning which you had set for your child is being achieved. And in case somewhere a child is missing out and you feel that, oh, he missed out the circle, he's not able to see the circle, you just say that, do not think I can see some other circles around the chair as well. Is there any circle? Because you are very clear in your mind that today my learning outcome is going to be this. The moment you know what is right for your child, the moment you know that today my learning outcome has to be this, by the end of the day, child should be knowing about this. That's the time your invitations, your provocations, everything you work. And even if it doesn't work, and rather than circle, he started looking for squares, it's absolutely okay. Tomorrow you can take the circle again, or it can divert from one thing to another. And you just see that, how I can, as an adult, weave this learning outcome of mine around the thing which the child is going. A small child, what all can you do? You weave around numbers, you weave around alphabets, colors, songs, no, not more than that. So whenever you weave
Yes.
around, and especially when I give you a small example, it's such a, I mean, I hope I'm not taking too much of stories of mine. So there was a small thing which there was a chapter for,
Time.
there was a small chapter known as mind readers in a child's book, and probably the children are of 7 to 8 years old. And it was a story in which the king wanted everybody to read his mind. And now today's age, children are reading Harry Potter at by this age, and why will they be interested in what king wants others to think about it? But somehow I read the story, had to make the lesson plan, and before starting the chapter, I said, okay, I just want everybody to tell me what happened in your house today. So everybody just said that my mama was angry, so I finished my milk. Today I forgot to do this, and today this thing happened in the bus. I could see, and when the bus driver was angry, we all sat quietly because, I mean, every child came up with their own thought process, and the mind reader story was kept in a side, and I told them why it is so important to read somebody's mind. Everybody knows how to read somebody's mind. A child also knows how to read his parents' mind. When they're angry, they'll quietly do everything quite things properly. The moment they feel that the parents are in a fun mood, they will take all the liberties. So that mind reader today, whatever the chapter is been happening in your child's life, probably it has been weaved or with a different thought process altogether. Can you connect it with today's scenario? That is more important. Can you connect it with COVID? Can you connect it with still sitting at home? That is more important. I'm 100% sure you pick up any chapter, anything, and keep your learning outcome in your mind, that this is going to help my child when they grow up, and when they are going to be adults, and when they're going to look after their wives, their husbands, their officers, their own children, and the world around. Are they getting prepared for that? Not for the next class, not for the next exam. That is useless. Nobody remembers what they did what at what time. But in case they have a connect of human, a connect of understanding, a connect of understanding and responding to a situation in a very calm and composed manner, that is more important.
So yes.
So your learning outcome should revolve around that, what this learning outcome is going to affect my child when they grow up.
So yesterday I had a session with young parents, and I asked them after I finished about 30 40 minutes, 30 minutes. I said, "कोई questions है क्या?" So they asked me backward counting कैसे करना है, and addition कैसे करना है, and things like that. So I said that look at the book carefully. It's told you everything, right? It's telling you backward counting, addition, ye wo. But I asked them a question. I said that you have young daughters, which was little kindergarten children, and you have young sons at home, right? You're growing both the children. And when you talk about mindfulness, you talk about, the child observing. What do you think you're going to do for these two sets of children in your home as parents? So they said कि उनको सिखाएंगे, उनको खिलाएंगे, उनको, a whole lot of things. And I was telling them that, this is the most beautiful time when your child is young, and you're setting a standard for the girls, the little girls, to say that this is how calm we have to be, and for the little boys to say that this is how we also have to see behavior. It's they say that any behavior is a learned, invitation to behave in a particular way. So I think that is another very important thing on how you exhibit different kinds of behavior, inviting the children to choose between different kinds of behavior. I think it's important to do that also, because that's where the mindfulness comes in. That's where the long term learning happens. And what is beautiful, like I said, I've been reading about what Tripta just told us, and it said that parents play a very, very vital counterpart in this philosophy. And today, I think it holds so good, because if the parents are not involved at this point of time, it's going to become very, very difficult, right? So I think, as a philosophy of what she was saying, the Reggio Emilia approach said that there has to be a very strong connect, And now the situation has become such where the
Absolutely.
triangle of the teacher, the parent, and the child at the pivot, is the most connected. So I think
Absolutely.
time when teachers are giving you a few tips to carry it forward. And I would also suggest a lot of observation happening. Just note it down and share it with the teachers. I think it's a great time for all of you to collaborate, teachers and parents. And
Parents.
yeah, because I think that's one very important thing. And that's what I was reading, that in this whole approach, that the common feature is to see the parent involved
Parent as partners. Parents as
as
partners.
partners. And Bhishma, what had happened was everything just became the school's responsibility.
Absolutely.
Whereas today and at home, I think this what Tripta is talking about, there is so much space for invitation. I would say even something as small as just leaving, when you're taking out the washed clothes, leaving them on the bed, separating theirs from yours, calling the child next to you and carefully folding your clothes, just not saying anything. Maybe putting the socks there and just saying that, oh, I'll match daddy's pairs, can you just check out yours and just turn the other side. But look at what it does to the children. The kitchen, what a beautiful place for invitations. Here, man, I've put the sugar, can you just stir it for me, or just walk away, or just leave the stirring and see if the child is going to stir it or not. There's just so much of wonder that you can create with this whole thing. So I think I'm going to start putting this in my curriculums now.
Sure, sure. In fact, nobody's born with the parenting tips. You're busy studying and their career, and then you get married. And one fine day you come to know that you're going to be a parent, and then it comes for a shock, and it's a lifelong thing. And slowly, like there's talks like this, the recommendations, the school teacher partnership, the parent partnership makes you much more profound parent. You start understanding your child, their needs.
Yes.
I mean, this is my profession. I know it so well, but probably if somebody comes and asks me about IT department, I do not know anything because that is what they've learned and this is what I've learned. So
Yes.
that's why it is important the parents to be partners so that we as a teacher or probably a person who's understood the child so very well, we can pass it on to the parents and the child becomes a responsible grown up when they grow up.
Nitya, there's another very beautiful, somehow or the other, from the first to the 31st session. It is very strange.
Hmm.
See, when I invite people, I don't know whether A, B, or C is going to accept the invite this week or the next week or the week after that. It depends on how. But it's so amazing that how each one just weaves in together.
Gets woven.
I mean, it's like an amazing thing. And I think that's what has been the most exciting part about this journey. So there was one point here that said that while you're giving invitations and you are creating processes where the children will be tempted, you don't discriminate between abilities. You don't decide that this is the ability and
Absolutely.
outcome. You just give that invitation and allow the abilities to just actually surprise you, the child, and everybody else. And I thought that was a very, very important part of the whole process. Otherwise, what happens is we have, even in the pre primary, people ask us for three types of worksheets. Ask me for worksheets for children of one ability, a second ability, and a third ability. I always get really nervous because if I give this child only that ability worksheet, how is this child ever going to get better? That.
I give you a small example of this. Sonia, one of our children who we thought that has got a very good ability, and there were three different sets in the school I was working on. One fine day, I gave him a very low ability paper, and he could not solve it. He could not understand it because it was set pattern was set in his mind that this is going to ask be asked, and this is what the parents prepared him for that. I'm not telling you to prepare your child for anything. I'm just saying let the child be and let the invitations and provocations and exploration keep happening.
So,
The moment you stick to the curriculum key,
yeah, so this is something which I so believe in. So I have these books which my learning train. So every time people ask me under the page, Why haven't you given a learning outcome? I said, how can I ensure this outcome? I can give you learning resources. The same page, two different children will have two different strong outcomes. One child may just do the coloring and learn colors, the other child may just do something completely different. So, therefore, don't restrict your mind and use the same resources for multiple purposes. And our next week, Tripta, we're going to have Rashmi Chari ma'am, who's actually going to speak to us about how we cater to different abilities. That maybe
Okay, wow.
thing will not fit it all. So I was just thinking that, how beautifully one end and it becomes like
And
another
I,
beginning. So very quickly in the next minute or so, because I think our 40 minutes goes very beautifully. Before we realize the 40 minutes is done. So before I
it's
wind up,
gone. Yeah.
I would like you to very quickly sum it up for us in the next minute or so. Just
So
sum
I would
up.
like to say, yes. So I would like to add on that, understand your child. It's very, very important that understand what we are not able to see, the children are able to see, to set the right provocations, and that leads to invitation. So provocation is something which you set and the child sees for the first time, and invitation follows with that. So first time when you show this is circle and you're setting it and you're telling what is circle is provocation. But once the child is going and seeing things around which are circular are invitations. The third thing is understand the timings. What time you're setting the bait for child to learn. In case the bait is right, the child will be able to learn. In case at times the bait is also right, the child is not in the right frame of mind to understand it. Don't worry, he's learning something else. But you need to have what, as Sonia ma'am said, that you need to have your observations ready with you. You need to note it down the voices of a child, that what did the child say at that particular time. So we as a teachers, we as a people, what we used to do whenever the children were going around, we were two, three people, and we used to note down what this person child has said and what this child has said about it. And that's how we came to know that, at times we used to come to know about the problems the child is facing, the insecurities at home, in case the parents have fought, and so many things you come to know. So the moment you start noting down the voice of a child, you come to know so much more. That is a provocation and invitation for you to know the child much more and much better.
Lovely. And, we wind up the evening by agreeing to agree, because that was another beautiful thing, that agreeing to agree with the child that the child can pick up what the child wants to learn. And thank you so very much
Absolutely.
for joining us from the Square Panda team. It's a team that actually very, very nicely picks up little snippets from our talks, and you'll suddenly find them, popping up here and there with lovely variations. So I hope to see it all. And thank you very, very much. Thank you. And
Thank you so much.
we'll see
Bye
you
bye.
next week with another very, very beautiful speaker. And thank you for connecting us to the whole topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Square, square, panda.